Zanu-PF's Resolution Number 1, passed at the party's 21st National People's Conference, proposes extending President Emerson Mnangagwa's term from 2028 to 2030.
This move, framed as a constitutional amendment to support Zimbabwe's Vision 2030 development agenda, has sparked intense political debate and exposed deep factional divisions within the ruling party.
The resolution's fate hinges on legal, political, and institutional dynamics, particularly the escalating power struggle between Mnangagwa and Vice President Constantino Chiwenga.
Resolution Number 1 seeks to amend Zimbabwe's constitution to allow Mnangagwa to remain in office beyond the two-term limit set for 2028. Proponents argue that continuity in leadership is essential for completing infrastructure, healthcare, and education projects under Vision 2030. Justice Minister Ziyambi Ziyambi, also Zanu-PF's legal secretary, has been tasked with fast-tracking the amendment process. Supporters claim the resolution is legally sound, citing Zanu-PF's two-thirds parliamentary majority, which theoretically allows constitutional amendments without a referendum. However, critics, including legal experts like advocate Thabani Mpofu, argue that the resolution is ultra vires, violating both the national and party constitutions. These stipulate that only the party's Congress, not its annual conference, can elect or extend the term of its presidential candidate.
The resolution has intensified existing tensions between Mnangagwa and Chiwenga.
Once allies during the 2017 coup that ousted Robert Mugabe, the two now lead rival factions within Zanu-PF. Chiwenga, backed by elements of the military and war veterans, has positioned himself as a defender of constitutionalism and party tradition. He has openly criticized Mnangagwa's allies for corruption and state capture, submitting a dossier implicating prominent businessmen like Kutakwash Tagwariai and Wicknell Cheveo. Mnangagwa's camp responded with scorn, labeling Chiwenga's actions as treasonous and immature. The president's allies, including Ziyambi and party spokesperson Christopher Mutsvangwa, have publicly attacked Chiwenga, further deepening the rift. Mnangagwa has also undertaken strategic purges, removing Chiwenga-aligned officials from key party positions, thereby consolidating his control over Zanu-PF's internal machinery. Zimbabwe's 2013 constitution limits presidential terms to 2 5-year periods. Amending this provision requires not only parliamentary approval, but potentially a referendum, depending on the interpretation of constitutional clauses.
Legal experts argue that bypassing Congress and relying on the annual conference to push such a resolution is procedurally invalid.
While Mnangagwa enjoys support from provincial structures like Mashonaland West, which have endorsed the resolution, dissent remains strong within the party's upper echelons. Chiwenga's faction, though weakened, retains influence among war veterans and some military elements. The risk of a split or internal sabotage remains high, especially as the 2027 elective Congress approaches. The Opposition Citizens Coalition for Change has condemned the resolution as undemocratic and vowed to resist any attempt to subvert the Constitution. Civil society groups and legal scholars have also criticized the move, warning of its potential to erode democratic norms and provoke unrest.
If Mnangagwa's faction maintains its grip on Parliament and neutralizes internal dissent, Resolution Number 1 could be implemented.
This would likely involve constitutional amendments passed without a referendum, leveraging the party's legislative dominance.
Mnangagwa could then remain in power until 2030, citing developmental continuity.
Should Chiwenga rally sufficient support from military and party structures, he could block the resolution or force Mnangagwa to step down in 2028. This scenario might involve a negotiated succession plan or a more confrontational approach, potentially destabilizing the party and the state. Though Chiwenga's military base has reportedly eroded, the possibility of a military-assisted transition cannot be entirely ruled out.
Historical precedents in Zimbabwe and other African nations suggest that unresolved succession disputes can lead to coups, especially when constitutional norms are perceived to be violated.
The deepening factionalism could lead to a formal split within Zanu-PF, with Chiwenga and his allies breaking away to form a rival political entity. This would weaken the ruling party's dominance and potentially open space for opposition gains, though the opposition's organizational capacity remains questionable. The success of Resolution Number 1 is far from guaranteed. While Mnangagwa's faction currently holds the strategic advantage, thanks to incumbency, parliamentary control, and provincial endorsements, the legal and political hurdles are formidable. The resolution's legitimacy is contested, and its implementation could provoke internal rebellion, public unrest, and constitutional crises. Ultimately, the resolution's fate will depend on Mnangagwa's ability to maintain party unity, suppress dissent, and navigate legal challenges. If he fails, Zimbabwe could face a turbulent transition marked by factional warfare, institutional breakdown, and democratic regression. If he succeeds, the country may see continued political stability, but at the cost of constitutional integrity and democratic accountability. The next 2 years, leading to the 2027 Congress, will be decisive. Whether Zanu-PF emerges united or fractured will shape not only the party's future, but the trajectory of Zimbabwean politics for the next decade.